All right, so code it now. So now we're going to move on to our second activity on this page. We already did the first one earlier. And we want to count by 100s and print each value between 0 and 10,000 with each number on a new line. Okay, so let's go over here, create a new file with Control N, enter for Java. And since this is also going to be using a while loop, it makes a lot of sense to copy the code from our third character file, rather the first activity we did on this Code It Now page. And Control V to paste it. Instead of third character, let's call this count hundreds. And we change the class declaration name as well. Okay, so we want to go between 0 and 10,000. And we want to count by hundreds. So this idea of counting and printing out as we go along definitely implies that we need a while loop. And instead of a char and starting from the letter Z, we're instead going to need an int that we will just call, again, current, which makes sense. And we're going to start at 0. And let's change this comment because we're not printing out characters anymore. So instead, we'll just basically write the same thing as the description of what we wanted to do. So print out each, so we want to count by hundreds and print out each value between 0 and 10,000. There we go. And so we can keep this current here because this is exactly what we want. And since we're counting between 0 and 100, we no longer want a greater than or equal to. Instead, we want a less than or equal to. And instead of a character A, we want 10,000. Okay. And so we're going to print out current, which is great. So we already have this. So we don't really need to change much for this line. But we do definitely need to change the way we're changing the value of current, because we no longer want to subtract 3. We instead want to add 100 each time. So we're going to say current plus equals 100. And again, like last time, we're going to use this plus equal because this will save us a little bit of typing instead of you saying something like current equals current plus 100. And that should be all of our code. So let's save it with Control S, hit enter to save, and then Control B to run, or rather compile. And yep, we compiled successfully, which is great. And then Control R to run. And yeah, this definitely looks correct. So just looking at it, oh wow, that's a lot of values printed out. But as we can see, it's going by hundreds, going from 4,200 to 4,300 to 4,400. And it started at, well, it ended rather at 10,000, and it started at 0. And each one is on its own line, just like we were asked to do.